Earlier this week, Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg of the Boca Raton Synagogue wrote a post on Facebook about Father's Day. And he said, while many people are looking forward to celebrating Father's Day, for other people, it becomes a day that is painful for them. People that might want to have children and can have children, people that may be estranged from their fathers. So he said, when thinking about how to celebrate Father's Day, think carefully about how to celebrate it, but when posting it on social media, think twice about what you post, because your post about your wonderful Father's Day could be painful for someone else to read. So when I first read Rabbi Goldberg's post, I thought to myself, really? Posting about Father's Day and having a nice brunch together, is that really too much to ask, that people should be able to post about the joyous times they have with their families? But then, after reading a detail in this week's Parshat Balak, I think Rabbi Goldberg might have a point. Let's take a look at the Parsha. So in Parshat Balak, we read of the story of Balak, the king of Moab, who calls Bilam, the famous prophet, to come and curse the Jewish people. And as we know, Bilam comes and, to his great disappointment, he can't curse the Jewish people, he has to bless them. And he issues some of the most famous blessings stated about the Jewish people in the Torah and all of Chazal. So one of them, we say every day in the morning. We say, Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How great are your tents, Yaakov, or Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. And Chazal, the Gemara and Sanhedrin say this refers to mishkenotecha ohalecha, are the tents, our shuls, our schools, our study halls. But Rashi says something different. Rashi says, what caused Bilam to look at the Jewish camp, the Jewish people, and be so overwhelmed? What was so great about the tents of the Jewish people? So Rashi says, what does it mean, Matovu ohalecha? Al shira'a pitchehem, because he saw their doorways, she'inam mechuvanim ze mul ze. They aren't directed, each one facing the other. Now Rashi here is a paraphrase of the Midrash Agadah. The Midrash tells us, Matovu ohalecha Yaakov. What did he see that he said, how great are your tents, Yaakov? Ra'ashaloyu pitchehem shel Yisrael mechuvanim ze lazeh. He saw when they built their camp, this is a very famous thing about the Jewish camp, the doorways were not facing the other doorways. Meaning all the doorways didn't face each other. If you had like a hallway or along a road, the doors didn't face each other. Rather, Ella, kol petach haya patuach acharei ohel chavero. Every door, every opening was opened to the back of the tent. Why? Kedei shelo yistakel kol echad ve'echad mehem bebeito shel chavero. So that they wouldn't look, each one, into the house of their friends. Meaning, like normally when in their times, especially ancient times, the doorway was a flap of whatever. So in order to get some light, you had to leave the door open. But if you left the door open, then people could look inside. So they didn't want that. So they wanted to give the other person a sense of privacy. And these are the interesting words. Kedei shelo yistakel. So that each one wouldn't look at their friend's tent. They offered them a sense of privacy. They offered them a sense of propriety. So they built their tents in such a way that they wouldn't be able to always be looking into the other person's home. What a value, what an important idea of teaching ourselves, teaching our children, the idea of learning not to look, learning to afford others a sense of privacy about how they live their lives, the choices that they make in their lives. I think that's something that's so important and so valuable today, to teach other people. You don't always have to know everyone else's business. But then I think about social media, about Facebook. Facebook is exactly the opposite. Facebook is all about social media, sharing what's going on in my life, sharing what's going on in my family, sharing what's going on in my home. But we don't really share. When we share, all we share are the good stuff. We share our celebrations. We share our excitement. We share the Father's Day. We don't share the fight we had with our spouse. We don't share the problems that we're having with our children or the difficulties we have in our job. We never share the real truth. We only share what's good, what we want other people to see about us. And I think Rabbi Goldberg, going back to Rabbi Goldberg, I think he has a point. I think we have to think about if in a world in which everyone is looking in on everybody else's home, it's not only we have a door, we have a window, we have a screen looking at everybody else's home. Do we really need to share everything about our lives? I think we need to think about how, and we especially teach our children about how do we want to use social media We can use it to be social, to share ideas, to have camaraderie and have friendship. But maybe we need to think a bit more about modesty when it comes to deciding what it is we share with the entire world. Have a Shabbat Shalom.